Thank you.
Okay. First is a short personal statement. Why are you interested in serving on the city's planning commission? In your response, please include a summary of your relevant education skills and experience, including any past civic involvement.
I'm interested in serving on the Planning Commission because I would like to become more actively involved in my community, rather than complaining about decisions I don't agree with or feel are not in the best interest of our citizens. I feel I bring to the table a mix of positive energy, a senior citizen point of view, as well as that of a woman and a minority in this community. Although I do not have a degree or training consistent with traditional city planning, I do have a keen interest in Emeryville, its traffic patterns, building decisions, long-range plans for family housing, and the future of our general plan. I have served as a project manager where my duties included obtaining permits and scheduling inspections and supervision of final walkthroughs for a subcontractor for floor and ceramic tile, sheet goods, stone, and carpeting. I served as a board member for Solano County Meals on Wheels, as well as the City of Vallejo Boys and Girls Club, vice president of the board, as well as a member of the Sister Cities Commission. I might add that I've lived at Watergate off and on for about 20 years. I also lived at 4210 Adeline, which is Emeryville, in a townhouse. My husband moved to Watergate when it was built, purchased when it became condos. We maintained the condo, and we lived there periodically as our home was being built in Vallejo. My husband became ill, and we moved back to our condo. We've enjoyed Emeryville. My husband passed away in December, and I've decided to remain here. That's it for my personal statement.
What do you see as the role of a planning commissioner?
I think the role would be to assist the council with the implementation of the general plan. That serves as a blueprint for future development of our city, or to provide input to the city plan if one's not been filed. To be knowledgeable of the city plan and to expand proposals at hearing if asked to do so. To make certain proposals or grants are in compliance with local regulations and ordinances and ensure that environmental impact studies are done if required or deemed necessary by citizen recommendation.
Okay. Describe your knowledge of the city's general plan and any other major planning documents that have been adopted by the City Council in the past 2 years.
We do know that there are requirements by the state that each city have a city plan. Our city plan seems to be very cohesive and very well written. I did go through it. For our city to become a cohesive city of distinctive districts and livable neighborhoods is one of our guiding principles. And I think we are getting easy access to parks, stores, and other amenities of everyday living. And this incorporates the housing element as well as the land use element in the state-mandated plan. I do think that we need to have more family-friendly housing. My grandson and his wife and daughter live here, and they are purchasing a house in Piedmont because of schools and also because they want a yard for their daughter, and they want a specific type of housing. I hate to see them go because they love it here. My grandson actually works down in Mountain View, and his wife works in San Francisco in Walnut Creek. She's a dentist. But they just could not find the type of housing they were looking for here. They live in an apartment currently. The circulation element is required to identify the major roads and propose new ones, public utilities, and to make certain this element is correlated with the land use element. Our connected place principle incorporates this very well. The third required element is open space, and I think we're doing an excellent job with that, with the Green Streets principle that meets that requirement as well. And I think the sustainable transportation plan is one that everyone should be very proud of.
Give one example of a recent economic development or housing project in Emeryville that exemplifies your point of view regarding design, community benefit, and/or community process, and explain why.
I think the Powell Street urban design project from the frontage road to Christie Avenue is a wonderful plan. I think this plan will improve pedestrian and bicycle access to Powell Street Plaza and Bay Street, and it will offer safer passage for walkers as well as cyclists. I do think we need to maybe incorporate some type of license requirement for bicyclists, and also perhaps a class. On my way here this evening, a cyclist ran several stop signs, and when he got to 40th Street, the light was red, and he proceeded to just blow through that, and turn signal came on, and a car almost hit him. And I think that's a very common occurrence here. I just think we need to somehow be able to address that and get it across, that everyone benefits from following the rules, not just the drivers of cars.
Mayor
Okay.
Whitman.
We'll start on this side. You pass?
I had a question, but I lost it. Come back to me, please.
Okay. On this side, Jack?
You already covered the family-friendly housing, so thanks.
I'll ask my density question, which is about how Emeryville might grow. We're projected to actually add a significant number of new residents and business in town, and how people resist that also because it's in their backyard. They don't want a lot of tall towers, et cetera. How would you address that issue?
I think using buildings that we already have, as the loft conversions have done, and also spreading out into maybe the northern sector of Emeryville. I think that people who come from San Francisco and more dense areas will be more accepting of our density problem here. I don't think if you compare our density with New York or San Francisco or Shanghai or Beijing, it certainly is not a density problem. So I think that with education of the general population as well as people coming in from other places, we'll get a larger component of people who are accepting of that. My grandson lived in Japan for 6 years, so he's very much familiar with density. He just wanted a house with a yard, and that's something that he just couldn't get here. So there are people who it won't fit, but I think there are people that it will fit, absolutely.
Ruth, did you think?
Yeah, I did think of my question. So, commissioners see drawings and elevations and get lists of landscaping plants, plant palettes, and all of that. And my question to you is, if you take a look at what an applicant brings to the Planning Commission, could you talk about your ability to envision what that building will actually look like based on what the drawings are?
Well, I think so. As I said, I was working with a subcontractor on floor and ceramic tile, which meant we had to look at plans. We had to know where the flooring was going to go. We had to have accurate measurements. So I was able to do that. I also, our house was built from the ground up, so I was very actively participating in that, so I know how to read blueprints. I know where things go. My husband also chose to landscape our yard rather than hiring someone, and we had to lay all of that out on the computer as well. And I oversaw refurbishing of our condo and where I would want things to go, and also had to look at the blueprints there. So I think I would have a good handle on that.
How do you feel about balance? We've talked about friendly family homes and community, but also we have an industrial center here in town. Do you believe that there has to be a balance between the two? And we also have some areas that are kind of, we'll say, some developers want them to go this way, some developers want them to go that way, a little change in the general plan. What's your take on properties like that?
I think that we need to work with developers. We also need to have industry here. We started out as an industrial community, and I don't think we want to abandon that. That is what has kept us going, and I think it will continue to do so. We need retail as well as industrial, and I think we're doing a good job in that area.
Okay. I guess that's it for the questions.
We have a minute for closing remarks.
I feel that oftentimes cities and other councils forget to include ordinary citizens in the planning process and commonly take the position that interested citizens have an opportunity to make themselves heard at the state-mandated community hearings that each city must hold. While this can be the case, the meetings are sometimes posted in communication media not easily accessed by the public and are sometimes held with short notice. Although citizens with planning backgrounds may be seen as an asset, they are sometimes influenced and guided by personal interest as well as those of developers they may know through professional affiliation. Citizens are many times conscientious, eager to learn, and willing to give of their time if only given a chance. I am the kind of citizen every city should welcome, an involved, committed, and informed one. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your time and all that you have done to help others.
Next is Gary